two amazing Saint-Estèphe Château here. And we're going to start with Phélan Ségur with Veronique Dausse. Thank you very much, Veronique.
Hello, ladies. Hello, gentlemen. Well, first of all, thank you, Neil, because it's on a very selfish point of view. We don't get the opportunity of tasting so often our 2009s. So thank you. That's, and to me, alors, like Nicolas, I did not make 09. It's my 15th vintage, so I missed 09, but I blended it. So I joined Phélan Ségur as a director in 2010 early. And so I didn't experience the vintage, but I think now you know how it went, more or less.
I was just thinking what brilliant blending in this wine. It was the best part for me. I thought, well, the rest is okay, the blending, amazing.
So the only thing is that all the lots we had in front of us, and it was my first experience at Phélan Ségur, I mean, everything was ripe and rich and beautiful. And I think that the only thing we had to avoid was over-extraction, over-maturity, and we knew we had ripeness. And so in the blend, it was to also keep the freshness. And I think that's what you have in the wine. I want to go back to the terroir, because we have a slight difference, maybe, compared to our neighbors. You have to think that we are up north, really up north. So it must be like 30 miles north of Bordeaux. And we are in Saint-Estèphe, in a place, it's not a big appellation, Saint-Estèphe. But we are facing, most of the vineyard is facing this huge river, which is actually an estuary, which is one of the largest, if not the largest estuary in Europe. So we are facing a huge amount of water. And this water, this river, we call it la rivière, actually in French. This river is a very important part of our terroir, or of our microclimate. Because during the winter, it really warms up the atmosphere, and during the summer, it cools it down. And I'm telling you that in vintages like 09, 10, 18, and so on and so forth, it makes a difference. Talking about the soils, there is also a difference. We are talking about the Médoc, the left bank, which is the temple for gravels. You know, these big stones coming from the Pyrenees, but not only from the Pyrenees. And they are perfect for Cabernet Sauvignon, because they are very well drained. But you have to think also that in Saint-Estèphe, thanks to the way all our terroir was created, we also have clay, and quite a high level of clay. And that explains why also in Saint-Estèphe, and people don't even necessarily know it, is that we have a lot of Merlot. So to make it very simple, you know, we have hills, you know, in Saint-Estèphe. That's what we call terraces. It's hills, you know. And it's very hilly, and to make very, very, very simple, so wrong, but simple, we have the big gravels on the top where we have this Cabernet Sauvignon, beautiful, and we have the clay at the bottom of the hills where we grow our Merlot. And we have these most beautiful Merlots in Saint-Estèphe. A lot of Merlot, and they are very beautiful. And you know, if you follow us, Phélan Ségur, I'm going to show you the bottle. That's the bottle of Phélan Ségur. If you follow us on Instagram, we are putting a lot of posts on what we are doing in the vineyards right now. And there is one of the posts, I don't know if it was posted or not yet, which says, in our varietals, we trust. Okay, sounds very American actually, but... And it means that we are not going to plant, you know, Cabernet Sauvignon just to plant Cabernet Sauvignon, because we have terroirs. We run 170 acres of vineyards, where Cabernet Sauvignon doesn't make sense. So we will keep our Merlot on the pretty good soils for Merlot, a little bit heavier, a little bit wetter, so cooler soils for Merlot. And we are going to increase Cabernet Sauvignon when we can, because obviously, of course, it's easier to keep Cabernet Sauvignon at a lower level of alcohol. But still, once again, in the north, the Merlot don't go crazy. So in this 2009, we have 58% of Cab, 40% of Merlot, and 2% of very old Cabernet Franc. And I like it a lot because I think it kept the freshness. And it's a very generous, ripe, alluring wine. It has this kind of toastiness and spiciness, but that you can taste. It's not too heavy, it's medium body. It has the refinement of what we are looking for at Phélan Ségur. So we keep always the freshness in our wines and the quality of tannins, which is a major, major thing, I think, in our style. The freshness, the precision, the balance, and that's what is very, very interesting in this wine. I did not vinify it, so I cannot tell you about the extraction, but I think that was something that was very delicate to make. Not such an easy vintage, actually, to vinify. And I like this kind of balance and fleshy and juicy and a little bit sexy vintage, actually. It's 09, it's pleasure. It's 100% pleasure. It's like, and you know, the only thing I remember when we blended it is that I thought that it was not totally balanced, that it was a little bit dancing on the table, you know? And I think that now what you taste in the glass is everything came in place. I don't know how to say it in English, but everything is at its own place. It really is, it balanced itself. Phélan Ségur, it's Irish, it's Phelan originally, so started in the 19th century. It's family owned, so the overall chateau is 275 acres, including 170 acres of vineyard. Comments, yes, it's beautiful. It's, I think that now Bordeaux is really changing. It's opening up. You know, we still have this reputation of being a little bit closed, but that's changing a lot. So we are more welcoming maybe than in the past. And also, I think it's worth coming to Bordeaux. Maybe some of you have come to Bordeaux already. Who has come to Bordeaux? Okay, so everything we tell you, you know, no? Basically. Thank you, guys. But I think that also it's worth coming to Bordeaux because things are changing in the vineyards. For those who came like 15 years ago, maybe in the vineyards, that was totally different. When I joined Phélan Ségur, the former owner was telling me, I want a clean vineyard. And a clean vineyard that was no grass, no nothing, you know, it was clean. Now when you say my vineyard is clean, propre, as we say in French, it means that, you know, now, I mean, the biodiversity has taken over. Now we are really managing our vineyards in a different way. You know, we have grass in the vineyards. We do plenty of different things in terms of yield, in terms of orientation of the rows. Like, for example, at Phélan Ségur, instead of planting 1 meter by 1 meter, which is 10,000 plants per hectare, now we are lowering a little bit the yield, the density, sorry, so that each plant has a bit more space to get water when we have drought, and we have drought. 22 was a huge drought, and to have more nutriments. Like now we are taking into account the orientation of the rows. I don't know about you guys, but we didn't do it. You know, we were following the shape of the plot. Now we are changing that so that we avoid, you know, the sun, because sun can burn our grapes. So we are taking, so we don't trim any longer some vines. We let them, you know, get their own balance, for example. So things are really changing. And even in the cellars, we are much more precise. We are much more subtle. The size of the vats is changing. We are vinifying in smaller vats. Everything is really changing. And just to talk about if the climate is changing something or what, I'm sure it does. But it's, actually, I'm going to say something, I don't know if you're going to agree or not for Saint-Estèphe, but it works well. It works well for Saint-Estèphe when it's really hot and dry. And I mean, maybe the last thing is that I looked at the notes, and in 2009 we harvested on the 28th of September, and we finished on the 16th. 2018, 2019, we harvested on the 24th. So, and we finished on the 10th of October. So it doesn't really make any big difference. Voilà. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we're gonna stay in Saint-Estèphe.